once again, it's unboxing time. So let's get in with the unboxing. It's like Christmas. I know people are like, well, Brian, how are you getting all this stuff? Where are you getting this money from? I always say, when you give a blessing, you get a blessing. So I'm pretty much sure what this is. This came today, and I wasn't going to open it until I got my books to go with this, and I'll explain that later. But I mean, it's like it's Christmas, and when you want to open a package, you don't want to wait like 3 or 4 days. So this is from Amazon. Touch Twin Brush Markers. And I want to say this is about $270. Let me zoom in. I'll give the right price will come up any second. Now, this is a set of the 60 set. I bought some earlier. I mean, like maybe like a year or so ago, because I was starting to get into coloring, and I bought them and I liked them. But what's the big boy's name? The markers. I wanted them Copics. I was introduced to Copics, and I wanted to try the Copics, but they were too expensive. So I ended up buying the Touch Twin markers. But then I was like, well, the Copics are supposed to be so good. So I bought some Copics, and I did a video. I tested them out side to side, and these were, to me, these were much better because they could blend well, and the Copics were just not as good to me, and they were crazy expensive. So I ended up buying, I think I bought a set of 24 maybe of the other ones, of the Touch Twin originally, but I saw that they had the 2 box sets, A and B box set, so I decided to go ahead and get the B box set because, wow, this smells good. It's leather, because they have more brighter color. The other set A was more paisley color, like if you wanted to do flowers in the distance and meadow brooks and stuff like that. I do superheroes. So yeah, they give you this book, which, you know, oh, what is this, a pen? Oh, nice. They give me a little pen, I guess. Yeah, it's a liner, touch liner. I don't know what it's for, but, you know, thank you, Touch Twin. I mean, you spending all that money. So let's kind of get into this. This 60 colors. This is leather. This is really nice. This is like it smells good. It smells expensive. Open this bad boy up, and boom. This is the brush, because, and I'll get into that. The brush, these are brush tips. The ones I bought earlier were just regular nibs, but you have like the flat cut chisel edge, I guess they call it a chisel edge on one side, and then you have your brush tip on the other side, which is extremely good for large areas. And then of course you have your point. I mean, if you use a brush marker, you know. So how do they sit in there? Oh, I guess they have their own individual little stands that they fit in, so they won't get mixed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to do some coloring, because I wanted to start doing some coloring. I guess I can't do that depth thing. Some coloring for a while, and but I'm waiting for my book to come. I'm going to transition this into a seamless cut when I get my books. If you didn't know, I drew a coloring book. I have a coloring book, superhero coloring book, for people that want to do coloring like this, markers. It could be used for kids and crayons, or it could be used for people that want to do Photoshop. I did that, and I didn't really advertise it too much as I advertised my action drawing books. But once the coloring book arrives, which should be in a couple days, then we're going to take these out, and we're going to color one of the pictures to show you how these things work compared to Copics. And maybe I'll dig up the old Copics and see. And yeah, so for now, let's close this baby back up. Oh, a couple things I wanted to say, and let me get out a test thing. If you're going to buy markers, unless you're going to like use them every day, I would say number one, don't buy them until you want to use them. 2, get something with don't get the water base. Get the what is this? Alcohol base. And 3, which is the big problem, is these things dry up. So you have to get refills. Let me see if I can pull out a refill. All right, so this was the ones I originally bought. This was this Touch 5, and they turned it into Touch Twin. I don't know why they changed the name, but they changed the name. And As I said, it just had a little point nib on it and the chisel edge on it as well. Now, as I say, these things run out. They run out, and you have to buy these fillers. Now, what you can do, I think, you can either pull the nib completely out. They give you, some tool. You can pull it out. You use your fingers and pull it out, and you squeeze this into there until, I think, till the other end starts to drip. You're supposed to take both of them out, both caps off, and you can let it drip on top of this one. Let me pull it out. You let it drip on top of this one until you see the wet shiny on this side, or you can pull it out and then squeeze them in until you see the wet shiny on this side. But this is the problem. You have to get these, or your expensive markers are going to be useless after a while, especially if you're not using them for a long time. They could dry up, or if you use them a lot, you will run out of ink. So when you get things, if you get the 12 pack, then they have like the standard blue, green, yellow, blah, blah, blah. But if you get something big like this, they might have like they are numbered. This number is, what is YR32. So this could be like an off yellow, brownish, and they might not make those colors here. These colors, they have the number on the tip. If you can see that, it might be blurred. So yeah, and just because you have one that's like 100 set, it just might be a gray. You have this gray, then you have a darker gray, then you have a darker gray, then you have another darker gray, and they're just slight shade differences, and they might not make one of these middle grays, and you might love this middle gray, and this might be your workhorse, and you can't find that color or that refill to match it. And these refills are like $7 each, but it should last a long time. I had these, wow, probably 4 years now. My old ones, 4 years. My Touch 5, 4 years. And I've only used them a couple times while I was using them, when I was doing a lot of videos, speed drawing videos. But I haven't used them since then. But you have to buy these if you're going to invest in markers. If not, I would only buy markers when I'm going to use them. Not, oh, there's a good deal, let me get them and I'll use them, a year later, because I have bought so many markers, water base markers, that have dried up. It's just, I mean, if you look at them, you're like, did you use those? But they've dried up because I've used them one time, let them sit. So it's best to get the alcohol-based markers. They're going to be a little more expensive. And make sure you can find refills for them before you go and invest in them. And that's the same thing with Copics. Copics have the refill, but Copics are crazy expensive. And the refills are expensive too. So the book's not here yet, but I'm going to cut it now. And when you see me again, I'll have the book in front of me and we'll start a little coloring. All right, so let's transition. Okay, so after 3 weeks of waiting, here is my coloring book. As I said, I had to order it. And I got it about a week ago, but I was just doing other things. So this is my superhero coloring book. These are some of the characters. I kind of created them to go into the coloring book, but there are a couple of them that are already being published characters, or characters that some of them that I'm already using, and the rest of them are just made up. So here's just flip through a couple pages for you. Now this is great for Photoshop, color pencil, and crayon. Now I took one of the alcohol markers and I put a little dot on it just to see if this paper is good for it, and actually it's not, so it would bleed through. So I would photocopy one of the pages if you were going to do some coloring, and then color if you're going to do the ink thing. So just flip through some pages real quick. So like I said, these are just some characters that I came up with just so I can do the book. Some are a little more detailed, some are more open for coloring. And basically this is like Photoshop. First thing I thought about was something to color on Photoshop, because Photoshop doesn't give you, there's not a lot of stuff online that you can do just made for coloring. So I created this book for Photoshop, crayons, color pencils, and you photocopy your page like this. I photocopied these 2 pages because I'm going to color it, but I'm just going to color one. And it's been a long time since I've done any coloring. So just to get my hands warmed up, I'm going to color them with the touch twin. It's touch twin. Anyway, so let me just get a nice little light color, couple colors. As I said, it has been years, so I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out colors that I may end up using. 2, 3. So let's try these brown ones here and get a little piece of paper that. I see. This was my first attempt. I tried to photocopy, but I messed up and photocopied it on the same thing. So let me see if I can get some colors that will kind of go together. I'm thinking maybe these two, the gold maybe is a bit much. Try this one too. Flesh tone. You'd have to get those flesh tone markers. That brown would probably go good. Now what I do is like if you have like a let me show you what I end up doing. Like if I have these 3 yellows, I would use like this yellow and that yellow. I'll skip a color and then just go from like this light to that dark, and then I'll go back with the lighter over the dark. Let me show you with this. So these are gonna be crazy colors just because. So let me just do this. I could use more light here because it's dark outside. Just use more light for me, really. And the brushes are good because they're softer than the hard nibs, so it'll flow a lot better to me. I'm just trying to leave some place where I think there might be some shadow or some light, just because I might go back over it later. And one thing about these, they're good because you can let it sit and then let it dry and then come back over it with the same color to give you a little darker feel. Now, I usually go light to dark. Some people will go dark to light, but not me. I'm just throwing it on there just to throw it on there just to see. Because as I said, it's been a long time. So then I'll go back with the same color, which will go on a little darker. And I'll kind of like try to blend it in, blend the 2 colors in. And if need be, I will go back with the darker. Like that mouth. And there again, the chin. The nose. In that open space, I would just go ahead and darken that up again. Or darken it, which would be light, these white areas, which would be just light because of the layers of color already on there. So if I go back over this 4 or 5 more times, it will get darker and darker with this color. So I can have like a really light area of this color and darker area of this color as well. So like I'll go over this top lip again, and you see that it's gotten darker. Let it dry, go over it again. So you really don't have to change your marker colors unless you just want a totally different color. So honestly, do you need to buy like a 60 set or 120 set? No, you don't, because you can do so much with just maybe a 24 set, and then you'll be good to go. Like I said, you just continue to use this same color again and again, give it a chance to dry, and then again, and you're just blending in the 2 or maybe 3 colors that you use. Now, let me try this. I think this was the darker one, darkest one. So let's just say if I go down around the neck, maybe like under the nose, under the mask, like under the chin, and this top lip again. In the ear. And again, I could go darker with this again and again and again. So let's just say this guy's hair is a brown color. Let's see, totally different. It's too close. Or dark black. Let's try this. Maybe a couple light spots, just because. And let's go a dark gray, almost a black, kind of, almost. I don't want to go too dark because I want that brown to come through. That might work. I'm gonna come back again. Did I just put that brown up? I think I did. Which one was it? I don't remember. I don't know. We're just gonna use this one. And he's got gloves on, so I was about to do the hands, but he has gloves on. Put that brown up. And I say all of these are numbered, so I guess they're numbered in the family. RB 401, YR 25, YR 31. So I guess you put them back with the YRs and the RBs, whatever letters are close. You just put those back. Like this is a CG. This is a CG here. You got CG2, CG4, CG6, CG8. So they are numbered the way that in line, the way they should be. This is, what is this? This is a YR. This is more the orange. It's the YR way back in the back. Sorry, you can't see how I'm putting them back. YR 32 next to YR 33. All right, now let me go over the face. This white. These white spots, one quick touch. And darken some areas up. Yeah. As for the costume, I have no idea what color. I'm gonna leave these right here. See if I can get away with this light so you can kind of see the colors a little better. I have no idea what color. Let's do a yellow. I'm a kind of a yellow-orange kind of fan. Let's try this one. Maybe a yellow and green or something. That is a dark yellow, but that's okay. As long as you put it on wet that first time, you should not get an overlap. So I do this, these on the arms. Probably the mask. Maybe the gloves as well. Why not? Why not? And the reason I like the brush tips are because you get so much more edge to pull across your paper. And then you have that little small fine point to get in those edges. And I remember the first set that I bought that I showed you guys. I didn't really show you the set, but I told you that I did buy some earlier. Some of those were actually drying out when I got them. So this, that, the mask, maybe the shorts. And I can actually leave some like a white space to show that mask has a shine to it. In the high areas. And then another maybe right here. Let's say the high areas again. I could have did that with the gloves to make the gloves look like they have a little shine to it too, but as I said, it's been a while since I colored, so I'm just kind of getting right back into the groove of it. So it's going to be either one of these two colors here, this two other oranges. So put my color down here, find out which color is going to be a good shadow color. That's kind of bright on me, but I think I might use that one because this one might be too yellow, so we'll go with the darker one. So kind of while that is still wet, I'm going to go over some of these edges. So it's good to pull your colors out and check them together. So because you want to keep it wet when you're doing it. Make sure your ink is still wet when you blend in that second color. And then what I would do is I would go back with this yellow and kind of blend it in a little bit more. Maybe take some of this white out. And this is all while this is still wet. Then go back in again and make it a little darker while it's still wet, because then it kind of blends, together and then dries nicely together. Whereas for me, Copics, I found out that Copics does not, let's just say, stay wet and blend well. Some people might like, no, you just don't know. But to me, when I did my video to compare them, it didn't work. Copics did not blend like these do. So since I have that, since this is wet though, this is going to be kind of still dry. This is dried up on me, should I say, not wet. And I think this is the same color Yeah, that's the same color that the first coat, first layer. Now see, if I had kept that wet like that, or if I added the second one while it was wet, it would blend in nicely. So what I have left now is basically just throw the second coat on of the same color and then come back with a darker color. And go back, and you just want to keep working on it while it's wet. Keep working on it. So we're going to do shadow right here. Shadow down here. And as I said, I could go over it again in this little spot here. I'll just keep rubbing on it and it will get that blended shadow with that same color. And I'll come back with the lighter color. Maybe blend that in here on the edges while it's still kind of wet. And go back here too. Go back over here a little bit. Keep switching while they're wet. So this one under here, as I said, it's good to get all your colors together so you can keep going while they're wet. So let me make this darker and maybe like this line here. I know there should be like a shadow from his head somewhere, from his chin somewhere. So I will do that right there like this. Go back with that darker on that edge. Keep this dark. And again with the darkness, and since it's wet, I can go back with the light color on the edge. And do that. Yeah, no, I'm going all out of the lines. As I said, it's been a while since I colored, and I'm kind of in a rush. So there is actual color here. I need to see his costume because I think this should be the same color, but I'm not because there's a V, and as I said, I don't remember. Let's see if I think this may be the only pose. But okay, this was the guy initially in green. I didn't see that, but that's all right. I think it's only one picture of him anyway. Bear with me, because as I said, some of these I just made up just for the coloring book. Okay, so there's another picture of him. So why is there a V? Oh, so it goes down here and in here. And that would be a different color. Oh well, so I'm gonna wing it today. May not even color it, maybe just make it a light gray. So that means I would have to make his shorts. Let's just do his shorts yellow too, just because. So we can have that what do you call that? That balance. Balance. I could have made his belt yellow and then kept that balance. Now, one thing I want to say that it should dry like in one solid color without having all the back and forth colors. Don't sue me if it doesn't though. As I say, as long as it's wet, you can work with it. Once it dries up, and I think what's the name markers dry up real quick. The other ones, the enemy, the Copics. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw that line, And it's good if you just draw your shadow, where you want your shadow out, and then you can put it in. Just instead of trying to like guess, some guesswork as to, you know, where would the shadow go. And then again, a great example, while it's still wet, I'll come back right here on this edge with the original color and blend it in. And it'll dry, it should dry. I'll go like right about here, maybe somewhere in here. And then of course under the belt, I'll give it a thicker shadow under the belt, which it really wouldn't have. And then if I needed to like do instead of having it just short, like really smooth, put some wrinkles up under there. Then come back with the darker one, make it a little thinner. On top of that, maybe some shadow coming from under one. Then go back again with the lighter one, so I can kind of blend them more. Kind of like that. Oh, his fingers are the same color, light to dark. I can see those fingers over there. And if I could have, I would have left like some really white area, some more white shiny area. What color would his cape be? Like a red? Well, yeah, why not? Why not red? Let's make sure I got all my yellow, so I can have a red cape, red belt, and then I don't know what color that would be. Let's do some red. And I'll put all these back later. I'll just put them back. Red. This is more of an orange. We got two red, but they're kind of like pinkish to me. I don't really want a really bright red. This one is definitely pink. Don't want that nowhere on them. Try this. It's kind of got some orange to it. All right, let's use, I think it's this one. Or is it this one for the base? I think it's this one. It's just the belt. So what we're gonna do here, I'll leave some light on the belt. And then since that's still wet, let's go back with a darker. And then again with the lighter to blend it in. Again, we got the light. And we'll go with the dark. While it's wet, and that's the whole secret. If you're using like this, you want to keep it wet. Make sure it's still wet. And go back over here a little bit. Bottom. So going back to the light. Dark. Go back again, dark underneath and around the little circle on the edge. Now, if I didn't really want it like light, let's just take this little pink. If I didn't want this light to be white, take that little bit of pink there and kind of tone it out a little bit or tone it down. So, oh, the cape. So let's do this with the cape. All right, so I'm going to leave some white areas around the folds. Lighter areas around the folds. And I'm only going to do one side because I don't want it to dry. Now we're going to go, and I can even go darker still. And then go down here. Wait. That's the light. I think that's the light. Let's find out. Kind of getting messed up here. Yeah, that's the light. I think that's the light. Well, these markers is getting all on my hand, getting all on my markers, making my markers look used. I think that was the light one. Like I said, since it's still wet, with the darker edge. What I can do actually is, where's that little pink? Did I put that pink back? Who is this? It's more of an orange. Let me just add some of that just because I can. Add something to that red. Just kind of just kill the red a little bit. And to the other side. It's one of those orange. R3 and R4. Okay, so R3 is lighter. I hope they go by, they count down. Actually, I can leave some light around the edge. As I said, it's been a minute for a color. So since I've colored, so my brain is not calculating where to put and where not to put color. And what I'm going to do is not color this whole thing. I'm going to leave it as time, because I know that time is a precious thing for a lot of people. To see me sit here and color for 30, 40 minutes, and I could do speed coloring, but I'm not, because I'm in the midst of doing my 30-day drawing challenge. So this is going to go up. I don't consider this one of the 30-day drawing challenges. It's 4. This is just, it was an unboxing. Almost like a black space ghost there. And I just wanted to show you, because there was someone that said they never heard of the touch twin markers. Sam's Art, my main man Sam, been looking out for me. These are the touch twins. And maybe later on I'll do a touch twin and a, what's the other one? If they're not dried up yet, the other markers, the ones you have, Sam. Copics. And what I want to do here is I'm going to get some gray. Maybe something not too dark. which is hopefully that'll lighten up a little bit. Just in case it doesn't, let me go lighter. Lighter. Yeah, that's much better. Get that shadow in there. Let's see if I can go even lighter and throw some more shadow in other places. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, remember, if as long as it's wet, then you'll get some good blending. But once you let it dry, it still kind of dries in with the color, but it'll leave a hard line like down in here. And again, as I said, all you have to do is go over it again, once again, a couple times with the same color, and it'll get darker. So you don't really need those 50 colors or 80 colors. I just bought the 60 colors because I have been looking at it for a while, and it was a 60 color pack, and I just said, okay, let me get it. Even though I knew if I look for the refills, I probably won't find half of them. Probably just the main ones. Because, you know, you can't be smooth down there. It's got to be some wrinkles down there somewhere somehow. And then this gray, I know, goes great with the red. I can tell you that right off the bat. Because I remember doing a lot of my speed colors. That gives it that little grayish shine. And let's just put the gray where the white is. Tone that down a little bit. A lot of it. And then a little bit around the eyes, down the nose, not too much. And in the brow, here, some on the temple, and down the side. So yeah, I want to leave it at that. For time's sake, I don't know if I'll finish it or do a finished product of it. Because as I say, I just wanted to show you what the Touch Swim markers can do and how I use them. So, as I said, this was an unboxing. And yeah, Touch Swim brush markers, Amazon. Hey, you can get everything at Amazon. And then my book, the coloring book, Amazon again. I'll leave a link. So yeah, that's going to be it for this unboxing tutorial, coloring tutorial, which is going to go up alongside my 30-day drawing challenge, because as I said, this is really not a 30-day part of the 30-day drawing challenge. So I will leave it at that and put some shadow under his neck. I always cannot just stop drawing. There's always something else that needs to be done that I see that I could do. So yeah, forgive my brother. I'm just an artist, you know, trying to get that art thing on. All right, so that's going to be it for this, and I will see you guys later doing the 30-day challenge. I'm doing the 30-day challenge now, so why don't you stop, Brian? I don't know, because just is me. Oops. Now I'm just about finished. Darken this up. While it's wet, it blends. Give it that nice little metallic kind of going on here. Now I'm finished. I'll just keep on. So I'll just throw everything down, put these things right there where you can see them, and yeah, I will see you guys later.